time we had you on, Robert. It was amazing because we talked about the benefits of omega 3 and obviously the importance of having a balanced body, having the body imbalanced and having a proper ratio for cell membrane fluidity, which is so huge. I want to make sure that our audience knows that's not familiar with your work. First of all, you're a U.S. Marine, so thank you so much for serving our country. That's
hoorah, hoorah.
yes. The other thing that Mr. Robert Ferguson is known for is he's a clinical nutritionist, has been doing this for many, many years. Over 30, almost 30 years, right? You're going to have
30, this is my 31st year, Lisa.
31st year. Okay, that's awesome.
And look, hey, I still don't have gray hair, Mike.
I know. Do you dye your hair?
I don't, but I am starting to see a little bit. It's starting to come in.
Shoe polish does wonders. I hear you.
It's right around the corner. I'm ready for it.
Hey, you know what? Gray hair is a sign of wisdom. So silver hair, that's what it says. It's a sign of wisdom. So we know you have a lot of wisdom to share with us today. You're NAACP Image Award nominee. You've written tons of books, many of them bestsellers. You have one of the only clinical trials on obesity in the U.S. You've been on the presidential task force for our nation. You've worked with the Obamas, with the MOVE campaign. You've just done so much. And if there's anything I've left out, please share with our audience, maybe even a little bit of your background, because I think it's important for people to really understand why we have chosen you, to be kind of our ambassador in the area of nutrition and supplements with regard to faces of epilepsy in the community, because we want people to have good knowledge and to have good understanding. And the most important thing is to have the truth. You're a real truth teller, and everything that you do is clinically proven, and it's always science-based. And, I love that about you, Robert, because you really do try to kind of read the fine print, if you will. And right before this show, we were talking about the fine print. So there's very little that can be thrown in your direction that you don't find out and search out. And so thank you so much for being with us today, Mr. Robert Ferguson.
All right. Well, thank you.
Hey, and before you get started, sorry about that.
That's all right.
Most people watching know you guys are very good friends. They saw the Houston, where you guys went to Houston together. They've seen the other 3 shows we've done together. So most people know you guys work together a lot. Robert is key in our education for health and learning and stuff like that. So from the listener and producer point of view, wanted to kind of ask you guys, we were interested, how did you feel Houston went? Because, for those of us that watch it, in fact, I've got a great clip here. Let me see if I can pull that.
Uh-oh.
Give me one.
What at least to give you?
I actually said it. No. I cut it. I cut it from our show.
I don't think anybody knew that we were in Houston together. I think we actually pulled that off pretty well, Robert. I mean, certainly nobody in my camp, except for Mike, knew we were in Houston.
It was one of our most watched streams. Like, we had well over 1,000 people watch it, and it was one of our most watched streams on the feed.
Oh.
So, for those people, and then definitely the team, you know what I mean? Definitely the team, of the feed.
We were going out into the camp, everybody, to see, if there was fruit in the land or not for epileptics. So I kind of, call Robert up and say, Robert, I got approached by a company. I have to know if this product is for real that they have for epileptics. Because if it's not, I'm certainly not going to recommend it. So Robert, you were gracious enough to get on a plane with less than 24 hours, 48 hours notice, kind of move your schedule around and come up and see if this was a real thing. So while Mike's pulling up that link, we are talking about glutathione, the master antioxidant today. So let's see this link. Here we go.
Let's see what Lisa shared.
It talks about,
we're doing some stepping up in here.
Robert just talking about doing stepping up in here. Let's go.
I can hear Robert's voice.
Yeah, the clip doesn't have much of him. It's actually more you, but it just so happened to cut right in on. We about to do some stepping up in here, and I love it. Let's go. Let's go. But this is just a really inspiring, encouraging clip. I just kind of want to let people know this is what we're all about. You know what I mean? You know, on this clip happens to be me, Enrique, Ashton, you, Robert. You know what I mean? And we actually had many more people actually on that stream, but just to show that we cross all lines, age, demographic, gender, you name it. This is for everyone. And this is one of those clips that I just thought was so perfect for that. I wanted to show that.
Start doing some stepping up in here.
It talks about, you know, the fear of being seen, and fear is a signal of growth. Don't let it stop you, let it guide you. And then there's a cost to staying hidden. Yes. The greatest loss in your life is the fact that you never allowed yourself to. The greatest loss in your life are the times that you've never allowed yourself to live. In addition to that, your voice has a purpose. Exactly. Anyway, it goes on, but I just wanted to show you there. Everybody's happy. We're positive. We're talking about the important things, and I hate the tone of my voice. But other than that, lovely clip there. Lovely.
Oh, that's
okay,
great.
we might as well also say that both of us, okay, which I thought it was funny, Mike, that you had that, and we're gonna get into this. We're gonna get into this subject of glutathione, but I thought it was funny because there was so much turbulence coming into Houston. And you asked me what the weather was like there.
You want to watch that? I can play that. You want to watch that one? I pulled it up just in case. You know, I pulled it just in case. Let me pull that one. Hold on real fast. Let me pull that one.
No, because Robert, I want to hear Robert's take on the turbulence coming in.
Give me 1 second.
I got it like right 10 minutes or something after mine, 15 minutes. He was like, oh my God, what the heck was that? I was like, literally, people on the plane were like doing this.
Was the weather out there in Houston, Lisa? What's that like?
Oh my God,
there?
Michael, it's terrible. And not only that, you guys. Oh my gosh, have you ever been on a plane where there's so much turbulence that the plane is like dropping and you feel like you're on free fall at Magic Mountain? Okay, that's what it was like. And right, literally the entire plane was full except for there was one seat next to me empty. I think it was supposed to be for Ashton Callahan because I think he was supposed to be here, but I know next time. But so the turbulence was very, very bad. And one of the gentlemen like sitting next, like on the window seat was like very anxious flyer. And everybody's like freaking out, screaming, and like, oh my gosh, like it was so bad. And then when the plane landed, I guess when you like land a plane when it's really bad, like thunderstorms like that, they try to land it like kind of fast. So then it was like, damn, I mean, it hit down. So I thought like, I literally thought like the tires were going to pop on the plane.
It was terrible.
You guys, you have no idea. My heart was like racing, literally.
Was the weather out there?
Yeah, it was terrible.
All right, now here we go.
Robert, what did you think about it?
Well, the turbulence was not fun. So yeah, it was a little scary, but you know, when you travel enough, you get to experience those things. But it definitely was not one of those fun moments on a plane.
Yeah, this last year I had considered being a flight attendant, and I even mentioned it to you at one point, Robert. I said, I'm gonna just go be a flight attendant so I can get flight benefits because it is so expensive now to fly. And I thought it would be so cool to do that. After that flight, I was absolutely cured that I am not meant to be a flight attendant because I was like, there's no way I could do this. There is just absolutely no way. You know, and I think that, you know, shout out to all the flight attendants out there, Robert, because I think that sometimes we look at them like, you know, they're just waitresses and pretty girls, you know, running around these planes, but they really have to be very conscious of safety measures, and they go through schooling and all that other stuff. It's a big deal. So anyway, we got to Houston safely, and it was an amazing time. And Michael, you were invited on that trip. But it was such short notice for you, and it's so hard for you to get away because you've got 10 shows you're running, and you know you just couldn't do it. But next time, next time for sure. Yeah.
For sure. I'm glad you guys had a good time. And I thought that would be a good opening to kind of go into, we know, Robert, you're very, very knowledgeable when it comes to nutrition and health and things like that. And I thought it would be a good opening and opportunity for us to ask you about that. And we know that anti-inflammatory is kind of the key, kind of the core base that we met you on when we brought you in originally to talk on this show. You talked to us about, cells and, being able to absorb what you need and things of that nature. And I know, like any great mission, it continues on. It doesn't stop at just one thing. It's always consistent. You're always learning, always uncovering new information, going around the world as you do, including Houston, right? And I just wanted to get your thoughts on what you may have learned there that you feel could be helpful for us. And of course, and you too, Lisa, and then, some other things that we may need to be aware of when it comes to what I like to call, naturopathic or, non-doctor prescribed medicine. Coffee is one of those two, by the way. It's not like, hey, coffee is a non-doctor prescribed medicine because caffeine is literally that as well. So,
Okay. Well, I'm not sure exactly where to start, but I would say that the trip was great because it was framed around having conversations about an antioxidant called glutathione. Have you guys talked about glutathione on this show yet?
No.
Right, the Friday night y'all were on.
Yeah,
We
just
pulled it up,
just
but just
yeah,
said
with,
that.
yeah, with Mauricio. Yeah.
Okay. So
he did come on for just a minute and talk about glutathione, and we did talk about it on the show a little bit on Friday night.
Mauricio came on?
I pulled him in from the other room where he was talking to
So,
you, and I
yeah,
said, Mauricio, come over here and just a brief moment. He did a little cameo for just a second.
So he did. Okay, so he came on. He talked about glutathione just a little bit.
Briefly, not like you can.
Well, I mean, it's not about. I'm just curious. I was just asking if you guys had ever talked about glutathione, because if it's the first time, then I would approach it by just sharing the basics of it, because that's why we were in Houston, was to talk about this master antioxidant. So for people who are hearing it for the first time, you probably heard of glutathione. And if you haven't, by the time we're done, I'm sure we'll say it enough that everybody will get it. But one of the cool things about glutathione is, number one, it is what they call an antioxidant. Antioxidants are things like vitamin E, vitamin C is an antioxidant, but glutathione is an antioxidant that you don't eat. It's something that is produced inside of your cells. And glutathione is very helpful in fighting free radicals. Free radicals, or what they call oxidative stress, is what creates damage to our cells, even to a DNA level. If I was if I had epilepsy, I would want to make antioxidants a big part of my life. So, for instance, glutathione as an antioxidant is produced all over your body, in every cell in your body, and is actually known for protecting the brain from damage, because free radicals can create damage. So that already is something that everybody benefits from. But if it was me or anyone in my family, that was living with epilepsy, they would know about glutathione. Does that make sense, you guys?
Yeah, definitely.
Absolutely.
Well, now, it's been said, Robert, that it's the master antioxidant, right? So it's like the most important one.
It's a very important one. And it is a master antioxidant. Another thing that's interesting about glutathione is that it's so well known. If you went to PubMed, where all the published studies go, there's over 100,000 published studies on glutathione. If you looked at omega-3s, for instance, I think there's maybe over 30,000. If you looked at polyphenol, maybe over 40,000. But 6,000 papers published. So that means that we know a lot about glutathione, and it's very beneficial. It's very helpful for a whole bunch of reasons. But for the most part, I would say that it helps with protecting your cells. It contributes toward getting rid of toxins that get in your body.
Mm-hmm.
And for instance, if you have low glutathione levels, that could contribute to epilepsy related dysfunctions. So said a different way, low levels of glutathione, okay, increases oxidative stress, which goes back to these the damage that takes place inside of our bodies. And oxidative stress is what contributes to what they call cellular dysfunction.
Mm-hmm.
And cellular dysfunction is that step before you have a seizure.
Wow.
Okay, so let's pause there.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah.
So you want to have adequate amount of glutathione, and we'll share with people what they can do naturally to get enough glutathione. But then, like oxidative stress, when it's elevated, that's not good, and it's almost always elevated with people with epilepsy.
Wow.
So seizure activities increase when you have more free radicals. So there's a free radical, not to get nerdy, called reactive oxygen species, or ROS. Like when you exercise, you produce more of these free radicals, right? So exercising sometimes could be a trigger, a domino effect trigger to someone having a seizure.
Wow.
Right? And this can damage brain cells. So then the question at this point, you start going, okay, wait a minute. I go do something good, like exercise, and I'm creating free radicals? Yes. And at the same time, that's why you want to have more antioxidants. The more antioxidants you eat, and the more antioxidants like glutathione that your body produces, then you don't have to worry about those free radicals. But imagine if someone's low in vitamin C, or maybe they're not getting enough vitamin E. And what we're talking about, they have low glutathione. They're probably going to have seizure activity more frequent, and it'll probably be more intense, and it has the potential of creating more damage. So antioxidants are very, very important. And glutathione in your brain is the primary antioxidant.
Okay,
in your brain, right?
Right.
Helps,
Yeah.
And remember, antioxidants neutralize oxidative stress. It protects neurons. Okay, so when your levels are low, that means that the brain becomes more vulnerable to damage. So is this all making sense?
Yes, very much so.
And I would say that the take home, and then I'll take a step back, is that you want to support glutathione, right? Because it has so much protective potential, right? And even in experimental studies, they suggest that increasing or supporting glutathione may help reduce, and you can see this, I was looking at it a couple days ago, may reduce seizure activity in certain people. So it's not like this is brand new, but what happens is when you go to a doctor, they may mention antioxidants, but then they may not. And I would say the majority of the time they're not, because oftentimes it seems like we lean more toward medications instead of telling a person what they can do to optimize our natural antioxidants so we have more protection.
So do you think that doctors, I mean, that was amazing. I just learned a whole bunch. I'm sure Mike did too. Do you think that that's risky? Like neurologists don't talk about it because it's risky? Or do you actually think it's revolutionary and that's why they don't talk about it? Because, you know, we're always on this quest at Faces of Epilepsy in the feed to find out what our neurologists aren't telling us. not because caca poo poo on the neurologist. We just don't know. Are we not asking the right questions as caregivers and as epileptics? So could it be risky for someone to increase their glutathione levels in their body? And could it actually create more seizures? And that's why they don't tell us. Okay.
So that was a lot, but let's go back and we're going to apply some critical thinking. You ready? Okay. So I just found out that I was epileptic, and you, because you have an experience with it, you know a good amount about it. You said you're going to take me to my first doctor's visit, right? Mm-hmm. When we go to that first doctor's visit, I'm starting to learn about epilepsy, and they're educating me on, when seizures happen and blah, blah, blah. And maybe they want to talk to me about some potential medications. In that first visit, are they going to also run labs on my glutathione to see how much glutathione I have, if I'm producing enough?
By the way, let me stop you right there. As an epileptic, it's not like your doctor sits you down and tells you about your condition. They just usually will go, okay, this is what you have. We'll order some tests, then we'll tell you what pills to take. Period. The end. And that's if they're thorough. Most of that is the best you can hope for. A lot of times they're just like, okay, well, call me if you have a seizure. Good luck. What pills are you on? Well, we're going to make it. Did you have a seizure last week? Well, we're going to double that dosage. Good luck. Mm-hmm. You're like, well, what about those side effects? Or what about the fact it doesn't, A, B, C, D? And they're just like, well, if you have another seizure, call us. So it's not like they sit you down. You, Robert, on this show over the course of the 3 or 4 appearances have provided more information about basic functions of the body and how they affect us seizure having folks than the 4 neurologists I have dealt with in my life as someone who needs them to kind of live in a way. So that is very upsetting for us. That's why we value you, but it's also kind of, very upsetting for us in that situation, just so you know.
Right.
I know a lot of my epileptic folks are listening, and now that we've been on for a while, I get a lot of feedback from them. And they're like, what about this? And you're like, so say you go to I want to stop and go, speaking for all of us, we don't always get a doctor that sits us down. Like I said, you provide us more information here on this show than we get from our doctors a lot of times. So thank you.
Right.
Checks in the mail. Starbucks on me next time I see you.
Okay, so let's go back to that, because you actually answered my question, and that is, if everything I said is true about antioxidants and protecting the brain, if all of that is true, why isn't the doctors doing a glutathione test on you guys?
You want the truth?
Yeah, I mean, that's because it doesn't make, I'm either lying or they're not doing their job.
Because it doesn't benefit big pharma. They won't get their kickbacks if it's something that you can go and take vitamins and naturally occurring substances and take care of. Basically, if the big pharma industry is cut out, they're not going to talk to you about it or recommend it, has been my experience.
Right.
Unless you really dig deep with them and you kind of hold your doctor down, but then you have to educate yourself on such a level. And most of the time have been dealing with this on such a level that you're like, enough is enough. I'm holding my doctor. I'm making him sit in this office with me and answer questions. Most of the time when you're first diagnosed, and even the first few years, you think that these folks are trying to help you, and instead of that you're going to have to go to them and demand answers.
All right. And what are you thinking, Lisa?
Well, I'm just like, you can obviously hear the frustration, in Mike's tone, and naturally so. I mean, as a caregiver who had a son with epilepsy who was much younger than Mike, Mike being an adult, and then my son having kind of to depend on me as his caregiver and his mom. I've said this to you many times, Robert, and I get that this is where I get emotional, as I always feel like had I known what I know now, I would have done so many things differently. But I think we just depend on neurologists and big pharma so much, because that's just maybe the way our culture is designed right now, and But I see now that there's so many other ways that we can help epileptics through diet, and other means. And I'm wondering, I think that's why it was so important for us to go to Houston and really see if this was something that we need to have conversation around with regard to glutathione, and if we need to get this information out into the community, because Mike's even saying you've given more information and more value than many neurologists are out there. And again, it's not like I'm trying to be against the neurologist, but I understand Mike's frustration and many caregivers' frustration, and obviously all these parents that have lost their children to sudden, that didn't even know what sudden death and epilepsy was. So I
talk to epileptics every day who aren't aware of the term. Well, maybe not every day, but consistently who aren't aware of the term SUDA, right? Or SUDA, excuse me. And thank you guys for what you're doing. And forgive me, I don't want my frustration to come out like at y'all. I'm not frustrated with you all at all. I don't want you to feel that way. I don't want anybody watching to feel that way. Of course, we value the team. We're all on the team. I'm just so frustrated with that. It makes total sense what you said, Robert. Yeah, when you're diagnosed with something as heavy as epilepsy, your doctor should sit you down and walk you through things. Like, your life will be different now, that kind of thing. But they don't. They really don't. A lot of times they don't even tell you what they found on the test. I've multiple times had to go, well, what did you find on the test? Well, what did you find on? They're like, well, we've just decided you want to take more Vimpat, or we're going to reduce your Keppra. Okay, but what information do you have? Can we talk about it? And they don't make that time. So thank you for making the time.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's the other thing, Robert, is I just wanted to say this in remarks to what Mike's saying, and then I'm going to let you get up on this. But I think that's the other thing, is when the neurologist does say, Robert, like, they'll just say, oh, well, you're susceptible to seizures. Like, there's no other information really, that they're giving us to like be able to use to make our own choices as to how we can better our life. So I guess, like, my question to you, Robert, would be like, does diet play a big part in the glutathione? Like, can we do this through diet? Because you do have awesome diet-free life. People can go there, they can read articles. You have an incredible search engine there of awesome articles and information that you've written. Can diet play a part in this?
Yes, 1,000%. So remember, antioxidants is what you want to make sure you're getting enough of. So getting enough of means you're consuming it. So vitamin C, vitamin E, there's antioxidants. And if your nutrition, if you're eating enough protein, then you have the building blocks for your cells to create glutathione. Okay, so your body, remember, can create its own glutathione, and at the same time, you can consume antioxidants. All of that is going to be protective. Now, the other thing that's protective, right? Because so let me, just for clarity. So think of free radicals or oxidative stress that cause the damage, that creates that whole push, that electrical stimulus that can result in a seizure. These free radicals that create damage, they're like the bad guys. Antioxidant are the good guys. When the bad guys show up, if you have enough of the good guys, they can fight off the bad guys. So antioxidants are the good guys. Free radicals that come about from oxidative stress are the bad guys. So we're good on that, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So you want as many good guys as possible. Then you have what they call the environment, right? The environment could be the pool. The environment could be inside the house. The environment could be out at a party, right? So you want as healthy of an environment as possible, because if the environment is not good, then you run into major problems. Like, even if you have enough antioxidants that can fight off the free radicals, the environment could make it where you don't win. So when I talk about environment, we're talking about omega-3s, which we've talked about, with polyphenols, because they create the environment that keeps everything calm. And that's what enables the protection that everybody needs. So it's a combination of produce more glutathione, produce more antioxidants, make sure you have a really calm environment. And the reason why I highlight omega-3s is that is the foundation for why most people are living with low-grade chronic inflammation. And the more inflammation you have systemically from the top of your head to the bottom of your feet, it increases the risk of major fires breaking out. Right? So those would be the two main things. And if a person eats if a person made a nutrition plan around what we just talked about, you would eat enough protein, because you need to have a certain amount of what they call amino acids that you get from eating protein that is needed to get in the cell to produce glutathione. So let's say you have someone on a GLP-1 drug, which I don't think that would be a good idea if I was an epileptic. So I haven't looked into that, but that would not be a good idea. So that'd be interesting. You guys should look into that and see if you're seeing a lot of people who have epilepsy that are on these drugs. And the reason why I'm saying, if you're on a GLP-1 drug, the reason why people are able to lose weight is because you're not eating. And whenever I've looked at people when they're on the GLP-1 drug and they're not eating, they're usually going to be, there's a good increased likelihood they're going to be low in protein. And if you're low in protein, you can't produce the glutathione.
Right.
Now, if they're getting enough protein, which is really pushed when people are on a GLP-1 drug, then what happens is they may not have cell membrane fluidity. They don't have enough omega-3s. And if you don't have enough omega-3s, then the cell membrane is rigid, and then that pushes back on how you can produce glutathione. So if you said, Robert, just tell us what to do as far as eat. I would eat 3 meals a day. I would, for every meal that you have, make protein a priority. And then bring in as many different colors of fruits and vegetables in your life as possible. Because the fruits and vegetables are going to give you the polyphenols. That's where they get their color from. So the polyphenols, and then either supplement with like balance oil, which is an omega-3 with polyphenols, or make sure you're eating plenty of fish. If you don't like fish, then you want to supplement. That's all you got to do.
Okay.
And then actually the last thing is seed oils that you hear us talk about. These are oils, and they're also ingredients called linoleic acid, omega-6. It's in a lot of things, right? If you buy mayonnaise, the average mayonnaise jar, the very first ingredient says soybean oil. Well, soybean oil has a good amount of these seed oils in it. Well, what these seed oils do is they create this function on a cellular level that stimulates inflammation, which would be a major foundation to, I believe, increasing a person's occurrence of seizures. Because it's inflammation.
Yeah.
So, and you can avoid those things once you know. That's where I would go. I would just say, hey, you don't have to have a special diet. You don't got to avoid bread. You don't have to do anything crazy, but become knowledgeable of what we just talked about.
Yeah. One of the best ways to do that is to go to dietfreelife.com.
Yes, definitely.
Who's that handsome man? Making it happen. This is a great website. I dig it. There's all kinds of great information. I highly recommend. You can sign up for free. A lot of people think, oh, well, it's like, nah, I got to spend money. No. Initially, if you just want to get more information, get on Robert's mailing list, get the hottest information, because as we showed when you guys were in Houston, as when I first brought you on, I think it's extremely important that the community know that you guys are out there and you're traveling around the country and around the world if need be, and communicating with folks around the world trying to find solutions, right? And for us, and it's important, for for epileptics to know that there are people out there that have been affected by this in some shape or form, who may be a little more capable, a little more mobile than us right now. And you're able to get out there and you're doing the work for us. And that's, to me, why this podcast is so important, and the group is because we want to spotlight you all. Because, it's easy to complain not a lot's getting done, but to spotlight the people actually doing the work that is getting done is also really, really important. So thank you.
Yeah, I want to make a comment about the website, Mike, like you said. Thank you for pulling that up. The dietfreelife.com website. I love this website because at the top right-hand corner where it talks about the search right there, that bar right there, you can enter in anything, pancreas, diabetes, any chronic illness, cancers, menopause, hormone stuff, anything that has to do with anything that you're thinking of health wise, any challenges with a family member that comes up. I've went to your website, Robert, when people have mentioned things about pancreatic cancer, and I went in there and got articles on pancreatic cancer and sent them articles from your website. So I love what you did with the epilepsy article. This is when you and I first connected, and I had asked you about if inflammation, was a driver for epilepsy. And you had said that you had started to write an article, but you hadn't finished it yet. And then you obviously finished the article. It's an amazing article.
That was the first one. So I'm gonna do. You know what? I'm gonna do another one. It's time. I need to write a separate. But that was the one that sat in the can for about I don't know, 9 months, maybe a year. And I had started it, but I didn't finish it. And then because of you, Lisa, and I'm gonna say Mike, I finished it. And then here we are.
Yeah, and we're so grateful for that, because that's a great article. We actually have that article in our files at facesofepilepsy.me. It's our Facebook community. We're over 2,000 strong now in the Faces of Epilepsy community. And that article that Mr. Robert Ferguson wrote is in the files in there. If anybody wants to pull that up, it's there in our files in our community, as well as how to get in touch with Robert Ferguson. Another thing I love about you, Robert, is you're very approachable. You love to help people. And, you do free consultations, 30-minute consultations. People can sign up right at your website for a 30-minute free consultation, meet with you by Zoom, phone. And you're just doing such an incredible work. I wanted to ask you, with regard to the glutathione piece again, are you going to write an article about glutathione now?
Well, hey, you know what, Mike? So go to the article. Let's type in glutathione.
1 second.
So I wrote an article that's called glutathione, and it's been edited once. So I'm going to add one more thing to it. So I'm going to end up editing it again. But my goal was to give people an opportunity to find out what it is, what it's not, how it works. And that top one is the first one. But I talk about glutathione in a lot of my articles, but that top one is the main one. And I kind of go into what are the building blocks for glutathione? Even at the top, you can see how do you actually pronounce this word, right?
Yeah.
And then in every article, you can always print it out. So I make it where you can print it. Then a lot of my clients, they have 3-ring binders and they just put it in there. And I write everything in a way where I'm not writing to scientists. I'm trying to write so that my mom can read it and will understand it.
Yeah, I love that. So, Robert, what do you think is the biggest misconception now, knowing what you know about epilepsy? Oh, I think I'm muted.
Nope, we hear you.
Okay, good. Perfect. what do you think the biggest misconception now, knowing what you know about epilepsy? You know, you did the whole epilepsy awareness month last month. You were doing webinars sharing about cellular health, cellular fluidity. Do you think glutathione piece is right up there with the cellular health piece? I'm wondering how much, you know, I'm just wondering this misconception, I guess, about epilepsy and this drug. I'm wondering if we're just treating seizures and there's so this is the big question. I'm wondering if we're just looking at the seizures and we're not looking at all the other stuff, you know, the depression, the mental health, the anxiety, the diet, you know, are we just too focused on just putting a stop to the seizures, and that's why it's medication, Keppra, Depakote, this one, that one, and not focusing enough on the importance of glutathione and obviously this piece with cell membrane fluidity?
Well, I think we all know, and Mike said it very candidly, is that is what we're talking about. What's in our own power is not even part of the discussion. Number one, if glutathione is protective for the brain and is protective of free radicals, which play a major role, oxidative stress, keyword stress, if that plays a huge role in what stimulates a seizure, and we're not even looking at how to fight what stimulates a seizure, what is naturally possible, that right there is the first sign of we don't even have a chance to win. All you have is to be, you're uninformed, the average person. They don't know, right? So you're going to someone and you're hoping that they tell you, but they're not going to tell you because they don't know, right? And if you had your biology book and you said, well, hey, it says right here that glutathione protects the brain, that glutathione is an antioxidant and it fights free radicals that play a big role in why we have those electrical like shocks. But shouldn't I think about my glutathione? And then the doctor will probably go, oh yeah, well, you know, I mean, yeah, glutathione, antioxidant, you want to eat healthy, and then let's go back to the medications. That's the reality.
That's really upsetting hearing when you just said at the beginning of this conversation that there were over 100,000 published, right, medical
papers
on glutathione. Okay. I think you said 30,000 on omega-3.
Omega-3.
100,000 on glutathione. So what are we missing? We're missing something because the neurologists tell us take B12. Have you heard that before, Mike? I know my son was encouraged to take melatonin for sleep and B12. That's what all the neurologists are saying. So why are they not talking about the importance of omega-3s and glutathione?
Okay.
Why?
So I'll give you here's a good example. You mentioned serotonin, right? Then you just said take serotonin for sleep.
Melatonin. Okay. And
so take melatonin for sleep.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes. Yeah.
What is a precursor for your body to make its own melatonin? That's what they should be teaching people. Right? So tryptophan, which is an amino acid, mostly known for turkey, but it's in fish and meat. Tryptophan creates serotonin. Serotonin then gets converted into melatonin. Melatonin helps us sleep. So if you don't get enough tryptophan, and if you don't do the things necessary to optimize the production of serotonin, you can't naturally make your own melatonin. So you know what? We're not going to worry about all that. Just go buy a supplement. That's different than when your body naturally does it. So they treat everything the same. It's not just glutathione. They're designed, most of them, unfortunately, to diagnose and treat you with medications. That's it.
Well, just as a mom who lost her son to SEDA, I can promise you this. that with all the information that I have learned over the last, let's say, Mike, since 50 episodes, almost 50 episodes since we started this show, I
I think
would
we're 43, but yeah.
not have my son on Kepra, and I wouldn't have had him on Depakote. And I don't know if that's the right answer, you guys. But
I mean, I don't know.
I know that sounds controversial, but I lost my son anyway.
Well,
right?
I wouldn't say that it's controversial. What I would say is, if it was my kid, I would just do the things that I'm aware of, and then have my conversations, and maybe we would be on one of the drugs. I don't know, but I would 100% maximize glutathione. I would 100% have my kid on balance oil without question, because I know for a fact that the environment plays a huge role, and that many people, their environment is out of balance. So that means increased risk, because I do believe the science. I do believe that an antioxidant is I believe that glutathione is real. So does a doctor not believe it's real?
Like, I believe oxygen is real.
Yeah.
I love the things that don't require your belief, right, to be real. I love those. I will say, in addition to that, as an epileptic, one of the most important things I've found is methylene blue. I tried it here and there, but it wasn't until, I don't know, maybe about a month ago, I started really making sure I was doing at least 3 times a week, sometimes more. But it is one of the, by far, most effective things naturally occurring that I can get naturally, not from a doctor, that helps. And then in doing the research, people who are nonverbal, autism folks, people with dementia, which, very hard to deal with, and then, very successful epileptics, I know, extremely successful guys, all swear by methylene blue. And, they highly, highly recommend it. I understand for us, everything is different. There is no one size fits all. There's no one fix all. And I'm not even saying it will cure anything. But as far as helping brain function, as far as helping that clarity, and then as an epileptic, you can really start to feel halos or pre-seizure conditions a lot of time. It doesn't mean you're going to have a seizure, but it really can slam on the brakes with your day and your function. And I found methylene blue, and then of course, the balance oil and the omega-3s. Since we had that conversation, I even got other folks I know with arthritis and stuff on it, trying it, and it's helped them as well. So definitely the balance oil. And then, as a guy, I would recommend the methylene blue. See how it works for you, because for me and a few other guys I know that have dealt with epilepsy, it has been effective. So yeah, man, there are a lot of things. And I would say, at least, it's hard because the problem is, you have your seizures, you have your epilepsy, and they put you on medicine. And then they say, if you stop taking these medicines, you're going to have seizures. Right? But these medicines are set up to stop you. It's crazy. But then you get to a point where, just like I have done twice now, you go in to your neurologist and you tell them, I want to get off this medication. I want to start a program. I want to either reduce my dosage daily so I can step down, or I want to find something that is different that might serve the same purpose. But I just want to try to start getting off specifically. All my epileptics will know Keppra out there. For me, Keppra. And the doctor was like, take more B12 and call me in 6 months if you have a seizure. That was his entire, no antioxidants, no glutathione, no balance oil, not even, a recommendation of omega-3. Just take more B12 and call me if you have a seizure. And that's the kind of help epileptics are getting. Like I said, Robert, you've done more. Lisa, you've done more on this call. When you were in Houston, you guys have done more and given us more information and helped us feel like normal more, and given us more understanding than than personally for me, my own doctors.
Mhm.
So
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, how much time do we have left? Because I gotta.
I mean, I think we're pretty much wrapping this up. I
we
just,
with
Robert,
2 more hours, just a tight
yeah.
120 more minutes.
Well, we,
And then we'll let
we
you go.
started a little late, and but I have an appointment I got to get to.
Well, we appreciate you so much for being on today. I mean, I think this is a huge piece for epileptics. I think that definitely they need to be increasing their glutathione, and I'm excited to see what your next article, is going to be, that you're going to write around glutathione, and love to have you back. There's so much more that we can discuss and talk about. Especially, I love that you said, and I just want to finish with this, is that you said, create the environment to calm. And I think it sounds like that's what you're doing when you raise your glutathione levels, is you create the environment
No.
to calm.
Nope. Okay, remember, glutathione is protective, right? It's an antioxidant. Omega-3s with polyphenols creates the environment that calms.
Okay, so I guess I missed that then.
Yeah, I mean, we spent most of our time talking about glutathione.
Right.
And I just
correct.
added, but I said you have protection.
Yeah.
You can fight the oxidative stress, which is bad. And
Right.
again, I mean, we could have a whole talk on oxidative stress, because I even watch people who use the term oxidative stress, and then when you ask them to explain it, they really don't know, right? So free radicals is just something that is creating damage. Oxidation, you take an apple and you cut it, right? And oxygen hits it, it turns brown. If you squeeze a lemon on that open apple, it won't turn brown as fast because the antioxidants are protecting it. So antioxidants, whether you eat them or something like glutathione that you produce, are protecting you. But the environment, you calm the inflammation when you have an adequate amount of omega-3s with polyphenols.
Okay. And then the oxidative stress is a totally separate thing, is what you're saying. Because
oxidative stress ties into free radicals. Oxidative stress contributes and creates free radicals, same as exercising.
But won't that environment also create seizures? I mean, isn't that?
No. Well, if you don't have enough omega-3s to calm that environment, so you can have all the. I mean, so what happens is, glutathione is an antioxidant that protects against free radicals and oxidative stress. Oxidative stress is causing a horrible environment, right? That's what it's doing, because it's like you got a whole bunch of people coming in and they're just running around, just hitting people in the face.
Right.
And so you got to calm that. So as your antioxidants are trying to calm it, sometimes you don't have enough glutathione. If you can calm the environment, then you got a better chance, right? Because you've calmed the environment. You can keep a bully happy if you can keep the environment calm.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
And that's where the omega-3s come in. It's like, all right, I need to calm the environment so these bullies don't get out of control, because I don't have enough antioxidants to defend these, keep these guys from hurting everybody.
Okay.
So where you have magic potentially is glutathione with omega-3s, Lisa.
That's what I was thinking. Well, once you said it just now, I'm glad I asked the stupid question, because I was like, okay, I wrote that down, and I was like, okay, it's something to do with the environment.
Good question.
Because
good question.
One is creating the inflammation to go down. One is helping. You know what I'm saying? It seems
they work completely separate, but they both are helpful.
Right.
Especially if you want to reduce seizures, because I would be willing to bet you, if you got 10 people that went to Quest Lab and they were willing to pay for a glutathione test, and let's say it's someone who's like they've been epileptic for a while, I would love to see what their glutathione levels are. So $150, let's raise some money. and let's get 10 people to go get tested. And my
Okay.
gut says, because of the added free radicals of being being an epileptic, they're probably going to have lower glutathione.
Yeah.
But instead of guessing, why don't we just do a test?
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
Because what if we test 10 people who live with epilepsy and all of them have great glutathione?
Yep.
Then glutathione is that's not the problem.
Yeah. So in that order, it's omega-3s first. Must be.
Well, we know that people are going to be out of balance with omega-3s.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
But we don't know about glutathione. So why not test?
Right. Agree.
If you got that, we're on our way.
There we go, you guys. There you have it.
All right. Hey, and in the chat area, I put an article there on methylene blue, in case you want to read it.
Awesome.
And I do got to go because my daughter got it. But thank you guys.
Okay.
Thank you, Robert.
Love you. Thank
All right.
you.
Love you too. Thank you.
Okay.
You too.
Bye.
All right. Bye-bye.